Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon for VPNFTW, and today we're going to be comparing three of the most popular VPN services on the market today: ExpressVPN versus NordVPN versus private internet access. And today we're going to be taking a look at some of the features that I believe matter, like the privacy policy, the jurisdiction they operate out of, and what features they offer. Now let's jump right into it. Now, starting off with the privacy policy of these companies. Now, are these companies taking your privacy serious, or are they logging your data? Now, according to ExpressVPN's privacy policy, ExpressVPN states, "We do not collect logs of your activity, including no logging of your browsing history, traffic destination, data content, or DNS queries. We also never store connection logs, meaning no logs of your IP address, your outgoing VPN IP address, connection timestamp, or session duration. However, what they do collect is they collect information about whether you have successfully established a VPN connection on a particular day, but not a specific time, to which VPN location you've connected to, but not your assigned outgoing IP address, and from which country you've connected to." So ExpressVPN is not really keeping any logs. What they are keeping is how many times you connect to the VPN, which country you connected to, and from which country you connected from in the past 24 hours. Honestly, that amount of data is not a huge deal, and I'll tell you guys why a little bit here in the future, but I'll go ahead and mark ExpressVPN as not keeping any logs, because those aren't any kind of identifying logs. Now moving on to NordVPN. Now, according to NordVPN's privacy policy, NordVPN guarantees a strict no logs policy for NordVPN services, meaning that your activities using NordVPN services are provided by an automated technical process and are not monitored, recorded, logged, stored, or passed to any third party. We do not store connection timestamps, session information, used bandwidth, traffic logs, IP addresses, or other data. So NordVPN is also not keeping any kind of logs. Now moving on to private internet access. Now, according to private internet access's privacy policy, the data controller does not collect or log any traffic or use of its virtual private network. Now, honestly, that's not a very good description, but it says they're not keeping logs. So all three of these VPNs right here are not keeping any kind of identifying logs. Now moving on to encryption. Now, are these companies using up-to-date encryption, or are they leaving you insecure with old, outdated methods? Now, if you're unsure about encryption, I'll go ahead and help break this down for you. Now, sometimes these numbers can sound like a lot of gibberish, so if these sound like gibberish, I'll go ahead and break it down for you guys. I'll go ahead and let you know if it is A, secure, or B, not secure. So starting with ExpressVPN. Now, by default, ExpressVPN deploys AES 256 CBC, SHA-2 512 with a 4096-bit RSA key. And on top of all that, they deploy perfect forward secrecy. So by default, ExpressVPN's encryption is actually extremely secure. Now moving on to NordVPN. Now NordVPN deploys AES 256 CBC with a 2048-bit RSA key, but you can go ahead and bump it all the way up to AES 256 GCM with SHA-2 384 and a 3072-bit RSA key with perfect forward secrecy. And moving on to private internet access. Now, by default, private internet access is not using the most secure encryption. By default, they leave you with AES 128 SHA-1 with a 2048-bit RSA key. Now, one good thing is with private internet access, you can go ahead and bump it up to AES 256 CBC SHA-256 with a 4096-bit RSA key. But by default, private internet access's encryption is a little bit lacking. Now moving on to the jurisdiction. Now, are these companies located in the 5, 9, or the 14 Is? Starting with ExpressVPN. Now, ExpressVPN actually operates out of the British Virgin Islands, but one fact that I didn't know is while showing the same monarch as Great Britain, it's a self-governing group of islands located out of the Caribbean. So the British Virgin Islands has its own legislator elected by the British Virgin Islands citizens, an independent judiciary, and a national police force. The code of laws which the British Virgin Island companies and are required to abide by was actually enacted by the British Virgin Islands, not the UK. So ExpressVPN is not located anywhere within the 5, 9, or the 14 Is. Now moving on to NordVPN. Now NordVPN operates out of the country of Panama, which is also outside of the 5, 9, and the 14 Is. Now moving on to private internet access. Now private internet access is located in the United States. It is located right in the heart of the Five Eyes spying program. Now moving on to locations. Now, how many different countries can you connect to on these VPNs? Starting with ExpressVPN, coming in at the top of the list with over 94 different individual countries you can connect to. Moving on to NordVPN, who has 59 different countries you can connect to, and private internet access comes in with 37 different countries you can connect to. Now moving on to the features of these VPNs. How many simultaneous connections can you have on these VPNs, as in how many devices can you have connected to the VPN at one time? Now ExpressVPN comes in with 5 devices. NordVPN comes in with 6 devices allowed, and private internet access comes in with a whopping 10 different devices that you can have connected to the VPN all at one time. That's a lot. Now moving on to device support. So we're going to talk about which VPNs have dedicated apps for which devices. Now this isn't going to be an exact detail of every device they support because every VPN can support every device, but it's just about how hard it is to activate. So when I say devices supported, I'm going to be talking about something where they have a dedicated app where you can just go ahead and install it and turn it on. Not somewhere where you have to go into the settings and turn it on, and sometimes it can get pretty complicated. So when I mention devices supported, I'm talking about dedicated apps that these VPNs have for specific devices. Now, ExpressVPN and NordVPN and Private Internet Access, they all support the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox, but it's much more complicated to go in there and have to add the personal settings when instead there could just be an apps. Now, starting with ExpressVPN. Now, ExpressVPN has dedicated apps and supports Windows, Mac OS X, iOS, Android, BlackBerry, that's right there, BlackBerry app, Chromebook, Kindle Fire, Nook. They have a Chrome extension. They have a Firefox extension. An Amazon Fire TV app. They also support Linux. Now they support a variety of distros. They actually support Raspberry Pi, Ubuntu, Fedora, Kali, Aurora, Linux Mint, Lubuntu, Maui Linux, Parrot Security, Peppermint OS, Cubes, Ubuntu Studio, and Zorin OS. And they also have their own router firmware. So you can actually flash your own router with an ExpressVPN router firmware. So ExpressVPN has an arsenal of apps. As you can see, everything they support right here is just a huge amount. Now moving on to NordVPN. Now NordVPN supports Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, iOS, Android. They have a Chrome extension. They have a Firefox extension. They have an Android TV app, and they also have an Amazon Fire TV app as well. Now moving on to Private Internet Access. Now Private Internet Access supports Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, iOS, Android. They have a Chrome extension. They have a Firefox extension, and they also offer an Opera browser extension. Moving on, now do these VPNs offer shared or dedicated IP addresses? Now both ExpressVPN and Private Internet Access only offer shared IP addresses, but NordVPN offers both shared and they offer a dedicated IP address, but it is an additional fee per month. Now moving on, now do these VPNs offer a free proxy? Now ExpressVPN offers no free proxy. Private Internet Access offers a free SOCKS 5 proxy, and NordVPN actually allows you to use any of their VPN servers as a proxy, so it's pretty easy there. Now moving on, now these VPNs offer a dedicated DNS. Now if you guys aren't sure as to why you'd want a dedicated DNS, I want to go ahead and show you guys this picture right here. So if you happen to have an insecure DNS or a DNS leak, as you can see, DNS is pretty critical. If your DNS is not configured correctly, it can be leaking out your queries, and as you can see, DNS is a huge part of privacy and security. So all three of these VPNs right here do offer a dedicated DNS. Moving on, now do these VPNs offer torrenting and P2P? All three of these VPNs right here allow you to use torrenting and P2P with no restrictions. Moving on, now will these VPNs connect to Netflix, as in will they connect to Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus with all the new restrictions that they put in to block IP addresses? So according to the testing I've done, ExpressVPN has a great service that you can go ahead and easily access Netflix with. NordVPN has a service that it doesn't work all the time. Sometimes you have to reconnect and disconnect. Sometimes you have to connect to a different server, but ExpressVPN and NordVPN both actively work on making sure that Netflix works on their VPN, and also Hulu, Disney Plus, all the streaming services. And Private Internet Access, you can never connect to Netflix on it. All their IPs are blocked by Netflix, Hulu, and it doesn't seem like Private Internet Access really does anything to get around that. So both ExpressVPN and NordVPN are actively working to make sure that Netflix works on their VPN. I've seen NordVPN work often, but not quite as stable as ExpressVPN is with Netflix. Now moving on to the payment methods accepted. Now how can you pay for these VPN services? Starting with ExpressVPN. Now you can pay for ExpressVPN with PayPal, credit card, Bitcoin. They also allow XRP and Ethereum as other crypto coins. And they also allow Payment Wall, which is a payment gateway that has 240 different ways to pay. You can also pay for it in the Google Play or the Apple iTunes subscription. So if you guys buy the app on your mobile, you can actually use the in-app purchase and pay for it that way. Now moving on to NordVPN. Now you can pay for NordVPN with credit card. They also allow crypto coins through coin payments. Now let me tell you, coin payments allows you to pay with Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. These are all crypto coins I'm going to name off here. There's a new cryptocurrency called BitTorrent, Dash, Ethereum, Tron, Monero, Zcash, Ripple. Those are all the crypto coins you can pay with. And then you can pay with Amazon Pay, Alipay, WeChat payments. You can also pay for it in the Google Play or the Apple iTunes subscription. So if you guys buy the app on your mobile, you can actually use the in-app purchase and pay for it that way. You can also pay via Union Pay, and NordVPN is the only VPN on this list that actually sells physical gift cards. So you can actually go into somewhere like a Fry's Electronics or a Micro Center, and you can actually pick up a NordVPN subscription with cash, and it'll give you a little card where you go ahead and just redeem it online. So NordVPN offers a ton of different ways to pay, but they actually don't offer PayPal. Now moving on to private internet access. Now you can pay for private internet access with PayPal, credit card, Amazon Pay. They also offer an array of cryptocurrencies from Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash, BitPay, Zcash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. You can also pay for them with Mint, Beam, and you can even pay with gift cards. So they have a service. If you have a gift card for a big box retailer that you don't want, you can actually pay for it with that gift card, which is actually pretty cool. Now moving on to the price, what we're all wondering. What do these VPNs cost? So I'm going to go ahead and round up. So if something is $12.90, I'm going to go ahead and just round it up to $13 just to make everything way easier for us. Now starting off with ExpressVPN. Now ExpressVPN offers a 1-month package at $13. They offer a 6-month package at $60, and they offer a 1-year package at $100. And all three of these packages right here are backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like the VPN within the first 30 days, you can go ahead and get yourself a refund. Now moving on to NordVPN. Now NordVPN offers a 1-month subscription at $12, a 1-year subscription at $84, a 2-year subscription at $120, and a special 3-year subscription at $125. Now let me just tell you, the special they're promoting is year-round. But all four of these packages right here are also backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you guys don't like the VPN within the first 30 days, you can go ahead and get your money back. Now moving on to private internet access. Now private internet access comes in at the lowest, offering a 1-month package at $10, offering a 6-month package at $36, and offering a 1-year package at $40. And all three of these packages right here are backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like the VPN within the first 30 days, you can go ahead and get yourself a refund. Now, which VPN would I recommend? Now, not that anybody asked, but in the year of 2020, I actually prefer ExpressVPN. The reason I prefer ExpressVPN is their privacy policy is clear and it's easy to understand. If you look at it, it's actually extremely detailed, and they tell you every little thing that they collect. I think a lot of VPN providers might collect more data that they don't necessarily disclose, and ExpressVPN discloses everything they collect. On top of that, they deploy extremely secure encryption. They offer access to 94 different countries. Now let me tell you, when you're traveling abroad, 94 different countries is more countries than you could ever want to connect to. So if you're looking for an obscure location, ExpressVPN probably has it. And on top of that, they support just about every device you can imagine. They have apps for tons of devices, even specific Linux distros, and on top of that, they support Netflix to the point where I actually forget my VPN is on. On most VPNs, when you connect to Netflix, it'll just immediately block you out, or sometimes you'll have to disconnect from a server and reconnect to another and try to find one that works. But honestly, when I'm using ExpressVPN and I connect to Netflix, sometimes I forget my VPN's even on. I've never had an issue where it asks me to reconnect or to find a new server. So they work on Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus with no problems at all. And the cherry on top is that they operate out of the jurisdiction of the British Virgin Islands. So they're not anywhere near the 5, 9, or the 14 eyes. But if ExpressVPN is a little high on the price point, trust me, I understand. If you're looking for a bit of a cheaper VPN, I would actually go ahead and recommend NordVPN. I used to be a big advocate for private internet access, but they recently got bought out by a VPN conglomerate known as Cape. Now, Cape has a questionable past to say the least. So if you're looking for an extremely budget VPN, private internet access is still a good VPN. They're just not my number 1 or number 2 on the list. So I would personally recommend ExpressVPN, but if you're looking for something a little cheaper, I would recommend NordVPN. But if you're looking for something real cheap that just works easy, private internet access, it's still a great go-to VPN. So that's ExpressVPN versus NordVPN versus private internet access. Now, if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and leave it in the comments below, and yeah, that will conclude the review.